Hi, today we're going to be talking about the sound game. This is going to be a modified version from the sound game we do in class so that you can do it at home. The sound game is a wonderful activity to do with young children so that they can develop phonemic awareness. This is really great to do with a small group of children, but this demonstration is going to be specifically for you, a parent, to do with your child. If you have an older sibling, you can certainly do this game with them too. It's a lot of fun. The kids really enjoy it, or you can just do it one-on-one with you and your child. So the sound game. To be able to do this game at home, you're going to need 5 to 10 items that have a variety of sounds in them. For this demonstration, I'm just going to be using 5 items to give you the gist of what you can do. And they can be items that you find around the home. They don't need to be anything in particular. And having a variety of sounds is really great. You want a couple different options for beginning sounds in the words as well as ending sounds. So I have a book, a sponge, an apple, a pair of scissors, and chapstick. So you'll notice that I have 2 items here, scissors and sponge, that both have the same beginning sound, s, but they have different ending sounds, scissors, sponge. So that's good and fine to have items that begin with the same sound, just so long as they have different ending sounds. Okay, so once you have those 5 to 10 objects gathered, you and your child can name all the items that you have. Items, there we go. Okay, so if I'm starting out this game, I'll say I have something here, book, sponge, apple, scissors, chapstick. And you'll notice that I have an item here that's a phonogram. It starts with 2 letters that make a new sound. C and H together make ch. So that's also really good to have. You have not just that beginning sound, you can have vowels, consonants, and phonograms. Variety of sounds. Okay, so now that we've named those 5 to 10 objects, you can start the game. So how you play the game is by naming a beginning or an ending sound. So for example, you can find the item beginning with the sound apple. You can find the item ending with the sound book. And you can play this through multiple rounds. Keep going for as long as your child is interested. Now, there are some tips for when you're playing the sound game. So pronunciation is key. The sound game is meant to develop phonemic awareness, and it's also really good for diction, developing diction in young children. So we, as the adult leading the activity, need to be very clear with how we're pronouncing the sounds. So if I'm saying something that begins with the letter F, I want to make the sound f as opposed to f. I'm adding a sound at the end if I'm saying f. I just want to say f to make that sound very, very clear and easy to hear. Now let's say your child is having some difficulty identifying the sound that you're making. A really good trick is to say, watch my mouth. So B and V are 2 letters that have a very similar sound. If I'm saying book, b, I can say, watch my mouth, b. And you can invite your child to make that sound too with their mouth, b. That can help them identify the sound that they're hearing by watching your mouth make the sound. All right, so let's say your child is having difficulty identifying the sound with all of the objects out. You can isolate the objects to make the game a little bit easier. You can find the item in my hands beginning with the sound ch, chapstick. Well, if your child needs a bit more of a challenge, have all of the items out. You can go up to full 10 items and have all of them there that they have to search through for that sound that you're looking for. Now let's say your child is easily able to identify beginning and ending sounds of items. They're ready for the next step. So if they can say and identify that if I'm looking for something that begins with and they find apple, or I'm looking for something ending with a sound, oh, apple, and they can do that for all the items easily, here's what you can do next. Then you can ask them, can you hear any other sounds in the word apple? And they might say, p, p. Now, if they can do that easily, where they can identify beginning, ending sounds, and some other sounds that might be in the words, then you can go for the next step, which is to sound out the words. Now, initially, if you're first doing this with your child, you might need to give them model, an example. So if we're doing apple as our example, I would model. Okay, we're going to sound out the whole word apple. A, p, o. Now you try. And it's okay if they trip over it. This is going to be new, so practice is the purpose of this, not perfection. And that is how you can do the sound game at home. All right, give it a try. Let me know how it goes, and if you need advice, let me know. Thanks, enjoy.